Well, yes, indeed. A post-mortem now, that's what this is about. And we'll be going over to Abuja Studios now, where Dr. Theodore Ekechi joins us. He's the Director, Election Planning and Monitoring for the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Oh, what a plan that you had, and you were the Director of that planning. Take us through what this meant for you and your party.
Well, thank you, Kimberly. I want to say it's a privilege to welcome on the board. And let me get by saying that plans, channels of gratitude, people look head to add attention. We have really decided to be the champion of television broadcast in Nigeria. I would like to say that you should keep it up.
Thank you.
Coming to your question, I would say that I think the thing that really worked for us is that we actually took time to understand the reasons why the Nigerians needed change. And first of all, we wanted to be sure that we are capable of providing solutions for such a change. And the moment we are sure we are capable of providing the solution, and of course, providing the solution with the right candidate that will do the right appeal, I think that was very, very fundamental. Once we are sure we have the right candidate, we have the right appeal, we started asking for the right environment to prevail so that Nigerians' decisions, as they express their franchise, that the votes will count. The moment we are sure that these are in place, and we going to work, and I'm sure that is a reflection of the final result that we have today. We had a wonderful candidate who had a very national appeal, and we addressed the particular issues that Nigerians are really caring for and are asking for a solution. And one of the main ones, if you ask me, and that much you know, is the issue of corruption. It is very clear to us, even within and without, that the bane of Nigerian development, one of the constraining factors of Nigerian development, the reasons why we are not where we are, where we are supposed to be, the reason why we are still being counted as anything less than a developing country is because of corruption. It's the input that we have in our productive efforts or production efforts does not reflect the output. Something Nigeria wasn't going to go nowhere. So we came out with what we call our own magic wand. That is our candidate, General Muhammad Buhari, a man that has been tested and that is also trusted. A man that has been given opportunity to manage what I may call humongous public funds and never really pinched any of them. A man that has been head of state, that has been minister, and that has been chairman of a very rich government institution or parasociety, if you like to say that. And yet, who has not more than one house anywhere in Nigeria, who doesn't own more than 2 cars, and who cannot be ascribed with any stupendous richness in spite of the enormous opportunity and the power that were available to him. So with that, we went to the markets, and it was very, very clear that we had a wonderful product, and that succeeded.
Well, yes, you haven't highlighted all of this, but there were some challenges because I'm not sure they exactly thought it was going to be a smooth sailing as it were. But what about the kind of challenges that you're facing? Because, I mean, defeating an incumbent, you also perhaps might have thought about, wait a minute, something could go wrong here. What were those if you thought about it?
Well, one of the things that we thought were going to go wrong is the usual tradition of rigging in Nigeria. And if you remember from the beginning, we kept shouting that the electoral process needs to be strengthened. We kept talking about INEC as an institution that can bring about electoral success in Nigeria and that can bring about smooth transition. And if we are talking about strengthening our democracy, we may even want to use this opportunity to say that the best way to strengthen our democracy is to ensure that the institution that is supposed to be the umpire, that is the umpire for election hearing, is strengthened and is unbiased. So if you will recall that we were very, very particular about having an INEC that is not going to bias, that is not going to have interferences. And all the electoral processes, including the candidates, also ensure that there were not going to be manufacturing of votes that never really existed, voters. So the biggest challenge we really have was being able to ensure that this thing does not interfere. We were very sure from the beginning that Nigerians wanted a change. We were really very sure. And of course, we didn't have the kind of money that could have matched that of opposition. Everybody saw our spendings. Our spending were quite very austere. They were quite very moderate. But we were addressing the issues, directly addressing the issue that was the heart of Nigerians. You know, at the beginning, Nigerians were not very quick in believing that this change that we're talking about is very possible. So we thank all the wise men who saw tomorrow. We talk about the wise men who were able to decipher now and tomorrow. Who were able to see the trend of the thoughts of Nigerians. Who were able to read the emotions of Nigerians, and who came together. I'm talking about men like Tinubu. I'm talking about Tinubu. I'm talking about men like Rotimi and Ekechi. Of course, I'm talking about also the wise man from the east, Governor Rochas Okorocha, who, in spite of what I may call the regional victories and the regional opposition, saw tomorrow and decided to move with the people to a new vehicle of change, which is APC.
If you allow me comment here, because a moment ago you have just used the word for the PDP, the opposition. Well, how soon that has changed. But again, talking about this change, which you say Nigerians badly needed, what were those indices that gave you the assurance that truly this is what Nigerians would love to see?
Well, everywhere, at every time before the election, you at every opportunity, you will see Nigerians coming out with frustrations about the level of underdevelopment of the country. I'm just talking about the general level. You know, there are many issues that has to do with the use of public funds. I don't want to be too specific because our president-elect has cautioned us to temper our celebration with a little bit of caution. But there are so many issues that has to do with the misapplication of public funds, disappearance of public funds, and it was in the public domain. Then there was the issue of security. The average Nigerian does not go to bed and hoping that he's going to come up alive the next day. The average Nigerian does not leave his home hoping to come back to find his own intact again. Whether in the northeast, northwest, north, south, and south. If it is not Boko Haram, it is another form of terrorism, or it is robbery. In the workplace, you're not sure you're going to keep your job the next day, and you're not even sure at the end of the month that your take-home package will sustain you and your family for the first week before you begin to look for the next month's pay. So there was general discontent in Nigeria.
A quick one here. Just let me come in here. A moment here. Just yesterday we had our discussions also in our studios, in our Nigeria 2015 studios, and one of the respondents did say this particular victory was handed down the APC by the PDP. Talking about some of the internal, fightings within the PDP actually gave birth to this victory of the APC. What's your take on that?
No, I don't want to believe that, but I want you to look at it from a more holistic perspective. PDP, APC, ADP, or whatever you call it, they're all Nigerians, and they're all people by Nigerians. There is a movement of Nigerians. So when there is a movement of Nigerians, and movement of opinion, and movement in society, there are dynamics of the movement that there will be shift from one position to the other. So it's not necessarily an issue of PDP or APC. It's an issue of the people versus the ruling class. And it turned out that those who identify with the people decided to conglomerate themselves within a particular vehicle called the APC. So it's not really like a PDP giving victory to APC, and I think that would be very far an understatement and may not be fair credit to APC as a political party.